Hello and welcome. Today I will show you how to mine objects in RPG Maker. So it's like, from most survival games where you get an axe and start to cut down a tree and you get some wood from it. And to demonstrate it, I can show you. So at first we have no weapons or items, and now I get an axe. And as soon as I get this axe, I can start to cut down this tree. Now I got one wood. Now another wood. Now I got two wood. And after a specified amount of time or hits, the tree will be disappearing. So now it disappeared. And I also can look up that I got 5 wood in total, and I did the same. So the wood reappears after a specified amount of time, and we got the same for the stones here. So now nothing happens if I get the pickaxe. We can start to get some stones. And now the stone disappeared and reappears again after whatever time you like. Sorry for the interruption, but as you can see, even though it's in German, most people aren't subscribed to my channel who watch my videos. So it really is only a click, and it helps me a lot to keep this stuff here going. So I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create an axe, and you can use an item or a weapon as you like. So the thing is, I already created it. So you select the symbol, give it a name, and if you give it attack stats, then you can use it in your battle system. So if you want to use the axe also as a weapon, you can give it different stats. But in this case, we will only use it and check if you have an axe in your inventory. And if you have an axe, then you can start to cut down trees. The next thing we need to do is we need to create an animation. So for this, the tree starts to flash in a brown color, so you can actually see that you are cutting down the tree. So here I choose below 9 as a sound, so that you actually hear something if you start to cut down the tree. And we also set the color so you can see it flashing. So I need to look it up. And this we will simply, because it's the tree, I make it in brown color. So we have some visual feedback, and we also call it X. And now the only thing I want to do is to remove the title music, because it's always pretty loud and annoying. And then you can hit OK. The next thing we need to do is that we need to create a tree. And to do this, we can simply use the outside tile set. And afterwards double click here and double click on image, and after that you can select the tree from your tile set, and now you also need to take care that this should be same as characters, because otherwise you would be walking through the tree. And now we give it a name. It's a tree, of course. and we call this tree bottom and maybe also tree 1 bottom. So we use the bottom part of a tree, and of course we need the top part, so we do the same. So we select this, and this can be above character, so you can walk behind it, like so it looks a bit more realistic. We can call this tree 1 top. And now we can go back to our tree. And the first thing we want to check is if we have the X in our party. So the first thing, so we can do it like this. You can select actor and then your actor and select weapon and select it here. This will mean that you need this weapon to be equipped on your player, but for simplicity I do it like that. So I simply check if we have the X in our equipment in general, so you don't need to equip a player with it. So if you have an X in your items or weapons, then you can start to cut down the tree. And yeah, this is simply that part. And here we do another conditional branch, and here we check for a variable, and this one we call tree1 amount of hits. So this is the variable that we need to to check how many hits we need to. So how many hits do we need until we obtain wood? So if this is 1, so we need 1 hit and we get some wood, or 2 hits, or as you like. But in this case I want to give it, we want to check, oh sorry mate, I want to check if amount of hits is 0. So if amount of hits is 0, then we change the variable of tree1 amount hits to a random value between, in this case, 2 and 4. So this basically means we want to set it up like this, that you don't always get wood after 2 hits. You get it from a random amount. So sometimes you need 2 hits, sometimes you need 3 hits, and sometimes you need 4 hits to obtain some wood from the tree. And with this setup, now we can, and at the end we always set it back to 0, so it always goes back to this case and sets another random value. And now we need another variable to check how many hits do we have landed on the tree, and for this we simply create another variable and call it tree1 hit counter, and we add 1. So whenever we have the X equipped, we press the action button, the tree hit counter goes up by 1, and after that we check if the tree hit counter is the same amount as tree amount hits, and so we can see if the player landed the amount of hits and gets his wood from the tree. And now we can show our animations our animation that we created, to also get the visual feedback. So we use show animation on tree1 bottom, and here we choose our X animation and hit OK. And now we can copy this animation and edit it. And now we can also choose tree on top. So both parts of the tree will get the visual feedback. And now hit OK. And here we check the wait for completion. So it shows the animation and afterwards it will go on. So what we can do now is check this, how it works, and for this we need to create a chest where you get the X. So we can go here to other, or to chest, like that. Set it to direction fix so it won't move when we hit the action button. And here we can simply add an X to our weapons. So here we choose the X, increase it by 1 and hit OK. So now we can test it. And if we walk up to the tree, nothing happens if we hit the action button. Now we obtained our X. Now we can go to the tree and see that we can start to hit the tree if we have our X in our items. So this works, as we can see, and now we need to check if the amount of hits, so if we hit the tree the same amount as amount of hits is. So for this we simply use the conditional branch again and we check if tree1 hit counter is the same as tree1 amount of hits, or the amount hits. And if that's the case, then it goes into this here, into this case. And what do we need to do? We need to change our items. Oh, no, I see we forgot to create wood that we can obtain. So we need items. So here we can call it wood and select something as a symbol that looks like wood. And I'm blind again, so I can find it. Yeah, it's simply take this and hit OK. So whenever tree1 hit counter is the same as tree amount hits, we change our items and give us some wood. Increase it by 2, let's say, and give us a message. So 2 wood obtained. Alright, and let's test it out. So as before, if I go here, nothing happens. If I take the X out of this box, I can start to cut down trees. And now I see 4 hits and we got our 2 wood. And nothing happens, because we forgot to set back the value of our tree hit counter. So what we need to do here is to set our tree hit counter back to 0 and also set our tree amount hits back to 0. So if we got some wood, it goes back to 0, and then it goes back into this case and creates another random value. So this back to 0 and tree amount hits, back to 0, and now it should be working as intended. So take our pickaxe, we start to hit the tree, so we hit it 3 times and got 2 wood. Now we hit it 2 times and got 2 wood. Again 2 times. And now you can see that there's always a different value that we need to hit the tree. So this works as intended. And now we can go back and see if we can change it up a bit. And for this case, so we don't always want to get 2 wood. We want to change this up a bit, so we always obtain a random number, almost the same as we did in here for the amount of hits. And here we change it up that we get a random number of wood every time we hit this hit counter. And to do this, we simply create another random variable, and we call this tree 1 wood amount, and we set it to a random value of 1, between 1 and 3, or from 1 to 3. You can set it to whatever you like, whatever you want. So here is the random number, and here we can say, we can edit the change items and say give us a variable, so a number that gets created in here. So to do this, we simply select tree 1 wood amount, and now we should always get a random amount from 1 to 3. And to display this in the message, as you can see, tree wood amount is the variable with the number 3. So we can replace that by variable with the number 3. So it always gives us the number, the random number that gets created here, and tell us how many wood we obtained. So go back to the game and test it again. So let's take X. Now we hit it 4 times and we got 2 wood. Hit it 3 times or 2 times and got 2 wood again. Now we got 1 wood. 2 wood again. 3 wood. So it's always a random number that we get out of this. This is like we wanted it to happen. And of course, the tree needs to, so it's not an unlimited source that you can hit forever and get unlimited wood. So at some point the tree needs to die. And to do this, we create a new page, and we can say, we use another variable here, and we call it tree 1 lifespan. So when this number is reached, if it's the same or bigger as, let's say, 3 for testing purposes, so if this number is reached, the tree will disappear. So we can add here, so whenever we obtain some wood, we can add the variable for the lifespan and add it by 1. So whenever we obtain some wood, it gets added 1, so it's 1, 2, 3, so we can basically get 3 times wood out of it, and afterwards it disappears. So let's test it again. So take the X, hit the tree, 2 wood, so first, second, and now the tree disappeared, so the bottom part. So this works as intended again. So here we can do the same, we can add a new event page, set the variable, to 3 1 lifespan, so the top part will also disappear. So if it's 3 or bigger, then it will disappear. And now both parts should be gone after a certain amount of hits. What we can also do here is to set this to a parallel process. And here we can say, wait, just for testing we say wait 2 seconds. And after this, set 3 lifespan back to 0. And this means after this timer runs out, the tree will reappear again. So in a normal game you would probably add some minutes until the tree starts to reappear again, but for the testing purpose I set it to 2 seconds. So now you're basically done with your tree. So we can test it again. We get the X, start to cut it down, we got the wood, and again 1 wood, and now the tree is gone, and after a few seconds it reappears. And as you can see in your items, you got 4 wood. So everything works perfectly. And now we can do the same for the stone. So it's exactly the same. So we need to create a weapon and an item that we will get out of it. So we get stone from this one. So we simply choose an icon, and so we get stones. We need a weapon to obtain the stone, so we choose a pickaxe. And simply do it all over again. So the pickaxe is, there it is. So you can also add, again, if you want to use it as a weapon, give it some stats. We create a new animation for the pickaxe. So here we can do the same. What are we doing? Animation. Here we simply choose, for this case, if you have a better sound you can use it, but I use below 10 in this case. It sounds more like hitting on stone. Here we simply create a little animation so that you can see something. So I do it in a dark gray style, so it matches the stone, but it really doesn't matter. You can create your own animations or simply use this animation or whatever you like. So hit OK. Now we can create the stone. We give it the name stone 1, and now we do it all over again with the same procedure with which we did for the tree. And here we simply go to our tile set and select a proper stone like this one. Now you do it all over again. You set it to same as characters. Afterwards you check with your conditional branch, not for switch, for variable, and create. You also need these 4 again for your stone, so I create them all here. So it's stone 1 amount hits, then stone 1 hit counter, stone 1 stone amount in this case, the amount of stones we get, and stone 1 lifespan, because stones are also not forever. And now we can select this, but first we need to check, which I forget. So the first thing we need to check again if the if you have the weapon. So if you have a pickaxe, you can start to obtain stones. So hit OK. And afterwards we again check for stone 1 amount of hits and set it and check if it's 0. If it's 0, we set the value. So we set amount of hits to something random, as you like, between 2 and 4 in this case again. And afterwards we add something to the stone hit counter. So whenever we hit the stone, we add the counter by 1. And after that we show the animation. So we created this animation and can set it to this event. I don't know if we did it before, but use this event so you can copy most of the parts. Pickaxe, so this is only one event, so we can set this to wait for completion. After that we check if the amount of hits that get randomly generated is the same as our hit counter. Oops, not the vehicle. And we check this again with the conditional branch. If stone 1 hit counter is the same as stone 1 amount of hits, then this happens. And now what we want to do is control our variables and set the stone amount that we will get out of it. Again, I will simply set it to 1, from 1 to 3. And here in this case we want to add our items, so we want a stone, so it gets increased by the amount of stones. After that we display the text, and I didn't watch a variable, so it's variable with the number 7. So show text variable number 7 stones obtained. And afterwards we simply change back our stone hit counters and add 1 to the lifespan. So again, set hit counter to 0, set amount of hits back to 0, and add 1 to our stone lifespan. And this is done for it, so we need a new page. So the stone disappears again, set it to parallel process and check variable and check if stone lifespan is 3 or 4. Yeah, do whatever you like. So it's how long you want the stone to last. And again, here we can change the wait time to 2 seconds just for testing, and set back the variable of lifespan to 0. And now we can hit OK. And of course we need another chest, so I can copy this, paste it here, double click, change this name to pickaxe, and change the weapons. So we get pickaxe here and hit OK. And if I play this now, there should be a working stone. So again, if I go here, nothing happens if I hit the action button. If I get the pickaxe, we can start to punch a tree. And again. Okay, this stone didn't disappear. So something went wrong. Stone 1 lifespan. Oh, alright. So here we need to change it and add 1 to the stone 1 lifespan. So whenever the circle went through, the lifespan gets added by 1, and if the lifespan is bigger than or equal to 3, then the stone disappears. So again, let's check it out. We get our pickaxe, we start to obtain our stones, and now the stone disappeared, and after 2 seconds it reappears again. And as you can see, everything is working as before. So now we got 9 stones, and yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoy it and you can use it in your games. See you in the next video.